Cool?
Yeah,
Okay.
you're good.
In my classroom for do nows and exit tickets, I use a site called exitticket.org. I like this for do nows because I don't have to pass out do nows as my students are walking in the classroom or as the other class is transitioning out. My students just come, open their Chromebook, and click the link that takes them to the site. While they're taking their quiz, I see a screen that looks like this, and it is called a heat map on the site, but it basically just tells me how every student is doing. So this will change, this bottom part, as students answer questions, and I can see in real time what they're answering, and I can see in real time just by looking at the color how they're doing in general. So I like that I can immediately after we're done with the the do now, I can call out individual kids who did a really great job and we can celebrate them. And then I can get into more detail going over the questions with the whole class. I can put this screen up in projector mode and show it on my projector while we go over the do now, and I can get really specific about which question was a little bit easier for the class versus which question was tougher for the whole class. And I can make sure that I spend more time going over the question that was more difficult. In addition to that, I can see which kids specifically chose which answers, and I can make sure to call on those kids to explain their reasoning, whether they got it right or wrong, and I can target specific misunderstandings.
And can you talk a little bit about how that's different from charge-ups before?
Yeah, I didn't really like going over charge-ups before because I felt like I didn't have the data informing what I was asking kids. So kids would have something on their paper, I would tell them the right answers, have them check themselves, but it didn't really give me any data. It didn't really let me decide who I wanted to call on and why, and it didn't let me talk to the whole class about our data. So having the data in the moment helped me make this going over the charge-up time more effective.
And do you use the data from the charge-up for anything else besides going over the questions with the class?
I do. Depending on what the charge-up is, I can then decide either how or in what groups I'm going to then teach the lesson. I also know that I should spiral back certain things from the charge-up the next day, and I can quickly tweak the next day's do now or lesson. So I can make decisions either for that period or for the the following days.
And can you talk a little bit about how you do that? Like in the moment, is it something that you change in your planning to be able to plan to have different groups based on the data?
I think that would be a really advanced skill that I would like to work towards, but that I'm not doing yet.